we do have the epilogue, okay? So, a few things here. Tech is better now, and that's a very big thing. That's actually my main takeaway with this. And then, of course, we do have the actual story. So first of all, Sylvanas goes through her walk of shame, as everyone basically says, holy shit, look at all the terrible things you've done. And then we get our cutscenes. And I don't think we need to massively go through them, but here's the main thing to pick up on here. This is all like animated, lip-synced stuff in-game. Previously, these were just like slash emotes, and they were moving the camera. Right? So, you would have a voice actor talk and a character's mouth would just be pointlessly flapping about the place. Often with a animation that was way too goofy for the words. Whereas if you look here, that's not like a goofy slash emote World of Warcraft face. That's a serious talking World of Warcraft face. And that's really good. This is basically them upgrading their cinematic tech to the point where they can actually, without doing the, super big, expensive pre-rendered things, they can just go and do these and actually have the story be in the game more. Because, this is 2 minutes 14. The next one is, let me see, it's like around 2 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, 151. That's like 4 minutes of cutscenes. Maybe we wouldn't have got this if it was done the other way, and it was all pre-rendered. So this is just a really big improvement. As for the actual story, I mean, basically it makes sense, and I think it is the best possible way that they could have ended the story of Sylvanas. It's a way that I think but the hardcore people who basically, like, their whole existence on Earth seems to be the Dark Lady. I don't know, there are some Sylvanas Twitter accounts that are very into Sylvanas. But, they're obviously going to be sad that Sylvanas isn't going to be around for a while. And there's also people who just wish she was dead and we'd never see her again. Neither of those groups are going to get their wish. But if you actually think about this, well, she's gone to the Maw to actually do some meaningful work that will, not atone for what she did, but will actually, at least some good will come out of it, right? So it's kind of like riding the line. She's effectively done for a while in the story. And because of how time works in the Shadowlands, I mean, she could experience 800, 900 years in the Maw. And, we'll see her in 3 expansions time or 2 expansions time. But for her, that could be 900 years. And then that could even give her a little bit of a parallel with Ilaria, who, spends the hundreds of years in the Twisting Nether fighting the Burning Legion. So that could be an interesting thing for those 2 characters, right? Yeah. So basically it means that Sylvanas, when she comes back, will have had a whole bunch of time to, reflect, to think, and to just, endlessly fight a bunch of demons, or maybe shag the Thanos in case she actually finds him. Who knows? Demons, whoops, souls. Yeah. Bizarre walking bits of armor. So it's like, it's as good as it could have went. And, as for Taronda, it's like, well, logic. If you just killed Sylvanas, then what would happen? Her soul, because... the whole undeath thing was like the improper, like, tethering of the soul and keeping it for going to the Shadowlands. So it's like tethered and shoved back in the reanimated body or some crazy shit. So that soul would have just went straight down and be judged by Pelagos. Yeah. Where would Pelagos put her? Almost certainly not in the Maw.
Well,
that's not Pelagos' thing.
Yeah, Pelagos just says, no, the Maw, no.
And she's obviously a redeemable soul.
Well, is she obviously?
Yeah, of course.
Well, we don't know how that's ever been judged, but yeah.
Yeah, she's obviously a redeemable soul. Because the whole thing is her soul was shattered and fucked up. And then it got fixed. And when it got fixed, she had a change of opinion because she's different. In the same way, like, you were put here by you yesterday. And you had no fucking say in the matter. Yesterday you did. You start getting all these, more sort of philosophical takes on consciousness.
Yeah, because then you end up fundamentally agreeing with Sylvanas, which is people don't have free will. They are instruments of fate. They're whatever happens to them defines what they do, and that's why the whole system's unfair, because you don't have actually any choice. That was exacerbated by the fact that the Arbiter was like, well, I don't give you a choice either.
It depends to what degree it goes.
Well, obviously hers was all about...
We all have far less free will than we think, but do we have no free will? Well, some people will make a decently watertight argument that we have no free will. Yeah. Others will make a decently watertight argument that we do have free will, just not maybe as much of it as we would hope. But I mean, in this case, obviously with what happened to her soul and stuff like that, with how the actual canon is, of course.
Yeah. I will say I do disagree that this is a satisfying enough ending for Sylvanas, just because the fact that she's going to be joined by a certain someone and the fact that she feels positive at the end of the day means it's not a punishment at all, or it's substantially less of punishment. Also, it's literally making the best of what we've got, and I don't think it punishes enough for the damage she did. It's like, especially because one of the things Tyrande says is, this means renewal. This is renewal as opposed to vengeance. This is renewal for all of the Night Elves. It's like, no, they're all dead. They're going to go to wherever Pelagos deems it worthy, which for all Night Elves just seems to be Ardenweald because Elune chose that. Hang on a second, how does this work? Anyway, it's that whole thing of they're all still fucking dead.
They are.
You can't unkill them, obviously.
I guess,
but you did kill them.
Do you believe in the death penalty? Do we have? You don't need to answer that on air. But like, do we just have fundamentally different views on what justice is? Because in my view, she's being punished, and that she has a positive outlook that she can make meaningful progress and change through her penance. Because like, here's a great example. Let's just say some criminal does something, they get sentenced to prison. And, we hear their inner monologue, and on the first day, it's really positive. Do we then turn around and say, fucking hell, this prisoner is actually trying to make the best of their situation and is actually going to try to improve and change? Well, we must punish them harder.
No, I'll say the issue I take is that it is a very positive outlook for her, and it's very hard to understand how it's actually punishment, because it's not really that, It's interesting in terms of what actually makes it a punishment, because it's like it feels more like community service in a way, which is obviously punishment, but it's more the fact that she's not that she's literally happy about it. I don't care if she's happy about it. It's the fact that she's ultimately getting what she wanted out of life as a result, which is here's an afterlife with your mate. That's what she wanted, so she's getting that, so it doesn't feel like a punishing ending for her whatsoever.
It's like, that's... No, she just gets to be in them off for functionally like a stupid amount of time. I'm okay with it. And if she can save someone's soul who was also unjustly, fucked up and make the best of it and, come out on the other side better. I mean, if somebody does something bad, goes to prison, maybe someone from their same bunch of... this is complete bullshit
this
now.
Doesn't make any
maybe
sense,
someone for their gang was also in prison, and the two of them are like, hey, bro, we're going to make a real change in our lives, bro. And then they both do that, and they come out the other end, and they're like, fuck yeah, we're now actualized, bro. Let's help people, bro. Because apparently they just have to say bro all the time.
Yeah.
Rory and his bodybuilding gifts have completely destroyed me.
Yeah.
But like, you know what? It just comes down to punitive or restorative justice, and basically I feel like there's a whole bunch of if you like the American prison system, you're going to be very unsatisfied with this. If you think the Scandinavians have a better idea, but that's
I definitely don't agree with that.
I have to finish the point.
Okay.
And that is, as how we deal with this problem at a philosophical level.
Yeah.
That my point is not how we construct a story.
Yeah,
it's not particularly satisfying for a story, but as for what we do with the problem we've been presented with.
Yeah, no, obviously philosophically I think restorative justice is the correct way forward. Obviously.
Yeah.
But in this case it feels, as the story of Sylvanas has gone, she's had this, this stuff that's all been kind of painted over, and then you can have a reasonably happy little afterlife there. Sure, you're laboring, but your labor's positive, so you basically have a really good ending here. And that's the thing where I don't feel like that feels right for how she's impacted a lot of people in the story and how people think of her.
And this is exactly how I could go and do the story of Sylvanas explained video essay thing in YouTube that is philosophically pretty watertight. That's basically like, you don't like this, you're fucking stupid. When the actual problem is somewhere entirely different, and it is the overall macro narrative is not satisfying to people. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if we've got to... Basically, what they have to do is make a satisfying story and have the whole thing make philosophical sense.
Yeah.
They've got to a situation where it makes philosophical sense, but it's not a satisfying story.
Yeah.
And that's because their story's a fucking embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll never forgive you for what you've done to this. It's as simple as that. Like, this is a fucking awful story.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess that's where we're left. It's sort of as good as it could have been. We can kind of grapple with this philosophical thing, but
No, philosophically, it's alright. Like,
it's an awful.
yeah, I mean, philosophically, it all leans into the themes that they're presenting. Is we've chosen renewal. Everyone at this step has chosen renewal. She's not been, we have not just destroyed her for her crimes. We've decided you're responsible for your actions. You understand that. You're going to right as much of the wrongs as you possibly can. And that's fine. That's completely, like, as far as the story having a point goes, that's largely speaking relatively watertight. But it feels inherently deeply unsatisfying, especially, actually, the one other part I forgot to bring up is that Sylvanas literally gets what she wanted, not personally, but in terms of how the Shadowlands has changed, despite her not being in almost any way a positive, rational actor in this capacity towards us, because Pelagos being installed as the Arbiter is the change she wanted to see, because Pelagos says people will have a measure of choice in where they go in the afterlives.
Yeah.
Which means, from the storytelling perspective, she killed a load of people, sent them all to hell. She broke the world, went to hell. The super jailer hell devil man who, was in charge of everything for all of time. She allied with him up until she arbitrarily decided it was a bad idea towards the end, and then vaguely helped us slightly in a way that doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense.
She was nowhere near as useful or involved in this patch as I thought she would be.
Yeah, and then suddenly at the end of it, because Pelagos is installed as the Arbiter, despite those two never having any interaction whatsoever in any meaningful way to share philosophy, is now the Arbiter just is better now and makes it the way she wants it. Or like, she accomplished all of her objectives, but she did nothing in any capacity to help. All she did was hinder us, and we solved all her problems for her. And then she's like, well, I guess I'll go do some work. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the hell? She got what she wanted the whole time. That's bullshit.
There's a really nasty line that I could wheel out about Game of Thrones Season 8.
Oh, Jesus.
And I think you know what it would be, so I don't have to say it.
Yep.
It's...
Oh, my God.
There's just times you realize this is the story they've made.
It's unfortunate because the like a lot of the themes are there, they're just not executed on correctly.
And they're done very, like, every time a character says renewal, vengeance, it's kind of on the nose. It just reminds me of, I forget what talk it was, but it was whenever Todd Howard said for Fallout 4, our themes are androids and suspicion. And anyone who's ever fucking reading anything just turns on and be like,
God,
that's not a theme, Todd!
God, I love Todd Howard so much.
Just androids and suspicion, done.
Yep.
Yeah, it's... I still think this is as good as it basically could have been. That's not saying a lot, because it's not great. There's all the things that they've just had to patch up via stay a while and listen scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Where, that's almost just like, okay, what things that we really should have put in the game have we actually not woven into our story, so we just need to do them like an after credits scene? Done. There you go.
Exactly.
So, very weird. What's the deal with this story? Who made it? Why'd they make it? Why has any of this happened?
They tried.
Why is the Shadowlands now the hot summer destination of Azeroth?
I
don't.
Gar's is there for crack. Just
who's Admiral Taylor?
Admiral Taylor.
Yeah, this fucking. He of course is dead, so he should be there. That's just that bit where Admiral Taylor is just sitting around, haven't talked to him.
Yeah, like literally in Oribos as well. So he's like, "How did you get there? Did the Arbiter decide you just belong in Oribos for some reason? I don't know."
This expansion.
No think.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts to think about this expansion.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that this has single-handedly...
Yeah, what is going on?
Single-handedly saved the expansion. Well
Perfect.
done. Far better.
I hadn't seen this earlier.
Yeah. You know what? I just choose to believe this is canon. I'm gone.
That's
it's
50
like
seconds,
we just need a reset of the story.
Yeah,
and do you know what? Anduin, fuck off. Sylvanas, fuck off. Again, you stay because you're one of the few characters that hasn't been ruined. I'll say ruined. That's a bit too much for some of them. Taronda, fuck off. Oh, everyone. All of these fucking big characters who are important because they talk very slowly. Get rid of all of them, please. And let's just have small little stories with characters that are there on our level who we deal with like we're actual fellow humans.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily human. You get what I mean. Let's just get rid of all of this big, like, this is the MCU meets an EastEnders plotline. Let's just get rid of that. Yeah, even Thrall. Thrall, get you fucking gone.
man.
You know what? Fucking Thrall, useless ass bastard.
Yeah. Bring back the pandas who wanted to teach us about Zen and shit, yeah?
With Thrall, all of the Thrall Cataclysm stuff is just like, oh, wow. And then when it leads into Mop, it's like, Thrall. And I never feel like they've in-game properly dealt with how Thrall being a fucking dipshit ruined the Horde.
No, they haven't dealt with that because...
They've never dealt with that.
Because Sylvanas was immediately... Her story was so important that she took over all the Horde. So it's like the Sylvanas Horde is like that was never about the Horde. That was always about Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Everything has always been about Sylvanas since I don't know, Warcraft 3, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, let's just get rid of all of these big... Let's just make all of these characters from the RTS and stuff just figureheads. Figureheads. Barely any of them. How much of, like, whenever you saw Thrall in vanilla, you're like, oh my god, it's Thrall, that's really cool.
And you see him in Cata and go, would you go away?
And you never, and you didn't spend that much time with him, and he was still Thrall. He was like there, larger than life, an important guy. And the fact you didn't see him all the time meant you were like freaking important in the world.
Yep.
You know? Like, even in FF14, when you're a near fucking galactic superhero, like...
Every time you see Emmerich, you're like, yeah,
it's my boy. When you go to the faction leaders, it's like they feel like the leaders of a nation.
Yeah, because they're too busy doing paperwork to hang out with you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? So I just wish they could make these big characters just figureheads and like leaders and just leave the story to the other smaller things. I think they really need to do that. Yeah. Because it's like right now they're trying to do everything, they're kind of doing nothing.
Yeah, they've more room with them as well. Because like even like the stuff they could do with Flynn or Tilia now is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, well, I guess Bolvar was the leader of the Ebon Blades. That was still like, you have to deal with so many political repercussions and so many world repercussions of moving these characters. Like they're, like they're the big pieces on a chessboard. Or like we just have a load of pawns and high fire them against each other. It's like, oh, yeah, this doesn't really matter too much. So just work away.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's like some of the changes they need to make so they can actually, tell a story that will, oh yeah, there you go. Owl can't fly in the maw. Yeah. Also, man, Toronto's Owl gets such a shit deal.
Yeah. All right. So, you, my favorite owl, my best friend since I was, whatever age she finds Dorothy or whatever. You're just going to hell now. You just get to watch Sylvanas in hell for all of time. That's not very fair.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Let's turn night shift off. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Yeah. So we're now going through all these. I don't think there's a massive amount other than.
No.
Greymane's just like, she doesn't think shit, and hey, Horde player, fuck you.
Correct.
Gen's the best.
Oh,
it's like correct. Every character now is just like fucking happy hug therapy dog, hug, happy cry time. Yeah. Gen's just like, you know what?
Fuck you.
Fuck you all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, there's something about Gen's like willingness to just be a dickhead that's really refreshing. Now that we've kind of gone a little bit through the softening and the, sort of pillowific. It's weird. WoW has got like more soft and cuddly and pillowy.
Yeah.
And it's also got way more needlessly edgy. It's very funky, that.
Yeah, well, that's because,
it's a bit weird.
Yeah, you have to surface level deal with dark themes, but you never actually explore them. Because to explore a dark theme, to explore something like that can be genuinely taxing.
It would be like clicking on the wrong tag in Tumblr and going to a dark place.
Yeah.
Spooky.
I mean, isn't that what storytelling is generally supposed to be about? It's like, okay, well, use the incredible power of the imagination to take you to places and explore the whole depth of the human condition. But instead even like the philosophy of punishment was an interesting place for this to go. But so much is just, I am now Pelagos, I am magically in charge of everything, and afterlife is now nice because I said so. That's like the soft part of it. And you're like, what?
Yeah, and then it's even things like Pelagos. It's like it feels like Pelagos is the arbiter because the developers like him.
Yeah, that is like that has to be why.
No, that's just it.
Yeah.
Because you look at Pelagos and you're like, okay, so most of the time you've just been useless and annoying. You've not accomplished much, but I guess it's been decided that we like you, so you're the arbiter now. And it's like, okay, you're not a big roided up alpha, so I guess you're compassionate.
Yep.
So you get...
That's a real...
Other people are compassionate?
It's a no-brain take. Like,
he's such a nothing character. And, I mean, he's also got some of the worst voicing I've seen. He talks in such a stilted manner.
Very unfortunate.
Let's have a conversation, Matt. Let's over-enunciate every single word, and I'll talk like my mouth is moving too much. I don't understand what is up with the direction of that voice.
It is very much... This is, I don't know who the voice director is or if there's any like history and stuff. Maybe they're, substantially have better direction elsewhere or something. But it comes across very much like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that children's show with the dog that people really like now?
I have no idea.
Bluey? That,
maybe, yeah.
It's like basically full on like 3-year-old show voice direction.
Yeah. Do you know what? It sounded like the only directions were don't mumble.
Yeah.
Because I'll give Pelagos one thing. Can make out what he's saying real clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's weird. And then also, you see, the worst thing about this story is you think about what it means for the world, and like now the Shadowlands is just the place we go to.
Yeah.
Like how in the next expansion do they have a character die and us give a shit?
Yeah, you can't because now well actually
now I'm going to have to do a fucking lore video about where they're going.
Yeah.
Ah!
Well, here's the thing, right?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Talia's died, and now in the new speculation video, we're going to think about where Pelagos is going to put her.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well,
why have they done this?
Well, here's the thing, right? So imagine, right? Right. So Pelagos has said at the end of the epilogue, people will have choice in which afterlife they go to. What happens if someone dies in a really unfair manner? What happens if someone is literally on the walk to the shop to get some water and then a brick falls off a building, kills them dead? Right? That's really tragic and that's really, really unfair. Pelagos is likely to go, oh, you poor thing, go back up. Go back up. You're fine. I don't know how that works whenever you're just your head's mush, how your soul gets put back into that body, but anyway.
You didn't deserve that brick.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and then okay, well then sweet, you just go back to life because if someone has a choice, that arguably speaking, based on what we know about Pelagos's existence, about Pelagos's character and stuff, it's all about compassion. Obviously, it's it's not complete. It's not rationality with a little bit of compassion. It's compassion first. It's people need choice in where they go. Well, what does that say for if someone's a real bastard goes, can I go to the nice place? And goes, sure, yeah. You've convinced me. Can you just make a rational argument for why you go back to life? Like, well, actually, Pelagos, you see, fate is inherently unfair. And here's some 16th century French philosophers drivel on why life is unfair and we should all just die. But blah, 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 I want to be alive again. And Pelagos would naturally go, based on what we know, I can't do that, but just for you. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, Pelagos, I don't believe that he has a spine.
That's the thing, yeah.
Like, or at least, like, sure, he could.
Yeah.
But they haven't really got us that in game.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like all the developers just decided they like Pelagos for some reason, and now he's the golden butter boy.
Yeah.
The everyone's favorite butter mascot.
Yeah, it feels like they are making decisions in the short term that don't respect the lore in the long term.
Yeah.
And I also certainly have questions about them respecting the lore based on the color of Silver Moon, but that's maybe something else. It's just that thing of, man, that's not. It doesn't feel like they've thought about the long term effects of this. And to be honest, it feels like designers barely think about the long term effects of it. And maybe that's just like a Blizzard thing where they're so busy with the now getting stuff done, they don't go, well, what's this going to mean for the universe in 10 years' time?
Yeah. No, it's all just very bizarre. It's very bizarre. And like, just imagine, the people found the death of Varian to be a strong moment in the Legion expansion.
Yeah.
Now, imagine that happens, but Varian's soul is going to go to Pelagos.
Yeah.
And Pelagos is going to send him somewhere he deserves and will be happy enough in.
Yeah, the realm of kings where him and Durtan get to spar all day and drink, something like that.
There is suddenly no... It's weird. And then, I even think about the rest of this. And, how many cultures almost turn into death cults because of their belief in the afterlife.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because if you look at the stuff, it's going to go to Valhalla, bro.
Yeah.
Or, you're a Klingon, going to go to Strovikar. You're like, fucking right, I'm going to do a bunch of terrible things.
Yeah, I mean...
What does that mean for humans?
I mean...
Are they going to engage in...
No. Well, they almost already covered this story with Sarfang. Because Sarfang, the whole thing about him and Zekan was, he was like, I'm so tired. I want to die a good death. And that's been a whole thing in you see that so much in samurai stuff. You see that in a bunch of Norse stuff as well, where it's no, well, the best thing to do is to die a good death. So you have warriors go out and actually they will put themselves in unwinnable situations to die with valor, to die with glory. And that's an interesting thing to cover. But it's that's now widely open for the whole thing. And the fact that Ben has dialogue goes, whatever. The entire... My dad's always with me. But what? How? Do you regularly cross the veil of the Shadowlands in your sleep to speak to him? Maybe. That's a dream thing. But where's he at? That stuff just... It's all just... basically, they opened a big Pandora's box and had no idea how to deal with it whatsoever.
Yeah, and based on how they've done all of this so far, I don't know if I trust them.
Yeah.
To make good on any of this.
Yeah.
Because they had an opportunity to shut down the Shadowlands.
And they didn't take it.
And, have they taken it or not? Khadgar's there, but it's not like he just popped over for a trip. Khadgar followed us a while ago because we see him in 9.1. We need to see what travel to the Shadowlands is like. See how these things work. It's very unfortunate that they made the portals canon, because they could have existed in a space of just being a gameplay thing. But I'm fairly sure in a recent enough interview they did just kind of be those are portals. So it's the world building damage is just bit wild, really. And now for other things, of course, we do have the Stay a While and Listens. Basically, the Windrunner sisters, Illyria would be happy if Sylvanas could come back now that, she's been fixed up.
Is Tyrandas there? I want to talk about Tyrandas.
Let's go to Tyrandas.
Oh, dear. Is it even here? No?
Is it her Stay a While and Listen? Or is
it? Oh, no, sorry. It's just dialogue, sorry. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's not even it. Okay. Well, Tyrande says when it comes to about why Weldon took her power away and stopped her from killing Sylvanas, she says that's because, the Mother Moon must have seen this outcome and that's why she stayed my hand, because now renewal can happen at the hands of Sylvanas, because she'll go and pull all of the Maw Night Elves, most of them have been destroyed because of Torghast. Nice one. We'll bring them back to Ardenweald or to the Arbiter and everything will be good. But Elune didn't know that they were in the Maw when she did that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The Banshee's pencil saved countless, blah, 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 blah. A fate that would not have come to pass had I slain her in Ardenweald. Perhaps that is why Mother Moon stayed my hand. No, because Elune reacts with shock whenever she's told they all went to the Maw after that happens.
Yeah.
Which means it's very hard to respect the canon whenever I can't. Whenever cinematics and in-game dialogue are saying different things.
It could just be a philosophical thing of, renewal as an idea. So...
possibly, but Tyranda's positing this as, oh yeah, this is all part of the Mother Moon's greater plan, whereas there's no way she would have known that.
True, but also she's a religious person with faith.
That's true.
So there are from her perspective, based on what she would believe in that situation, I think plenty of reasons to see this as just being what she thinks. But that's the tricky thing when we see people's subjective views of their own experiences.
Yeah.
No, Grimcore, I'm not saying this is a philosophical thing. It's like Taronda doesn't just go and say, hello, here's the canon update. This is what Taronda thinks. This is how she interprets what has happened to her.
Yeah, like the...
So she, being a person with faith, who, I mean, very much has every reason to have faith, considering Elune fucking took over her body for a bit. So she just believes this is all part of God's plan. Which, we can then go and poke holes in that, but that's just what Taronda believes.
Yeah. I also don't want I don't want to poke another hole in it, but if she'd killed Sylvanas and Ardenweald, her soul would have went to the Arbiter, and then she would have had penance that way.
Oh, she would have just went straight to the maw.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Yeah. Or maybe she would have went into, lava worm vor.
Oh yeah, she would have been gobbled up by magma. That's where we're at now.
Magma is the actual the true villain of the Warcraft saga.
Oh my god.